So welcome back on how to become an Oracle database administrator. As always, I would say get the skills and fuel your career journey. Now, this is actually an Oracle database class, and I want us to start exploring some of the most important aspects of administering a database. And specifically, we are talking about an Oracle database. I know that there are different other databases out there. For example, the MySQL database, you have Postgres SQL database, and so many other databases, including the Microsoft SQL Server database. And for all this, we are embarking on a journey to talk about an Oracle database administration. So this is all about getting bit by bit of an Oracle database administration tasks. And we are going to target the most important aspects of this particular database. So get the skills right and fuel your career journey. So if you are a database enthusiast, then this is actually the right place for you. So, our topic is all about becoming an Oracle database becoming an Oracle database administrator. And I know that there are so many other tasks that entail or that you are supposed, let's say the responsibility of becoming a database administrator. But in this scenario, I'm going to take you like one at a time. And in this part, we're going to shift to how to kill a single application specific session. So we all know that we have a DBA or a database administrator who is responsible in administering the database. And probably on the other side, we have developers who are also interacting with the same database. So what happens when there is a query? Let's say there is a disruption of the database operations or the business operation, and you are given a task as a database administrator to kill a specific session. Remember, this is actually like the database in production. It's a database which is already in operation. And as a DB, one of your tasks is, for example, to kill a single application or to kill multiple applications that disrupt business operations. So my question is all about how to kill a single application specific session. And given a scenario, kill session. So I want us to assume that we are a developer or there's a developer who sends an email to an Oracle DBA. So it can be one developer, it can be multiple developers sending different emails to an Oracle DBA. And each one probably has a query. But in this particular scenario, we're looking at, assume you are a developer, you are sending an email to an Oracle DBA telling him or her to kill the session as the session should not be executed during business hours. For example, the long-running queries that disrupt business operations. So you are given a task. And I want us to look at one particular scenario because there are different scenarios that a developer can actually, want to raise an alarm to an Oracle DBA to kill a specific session. But in this scenario, it is important for us to talk about one specific long-running queries that can disrupt business operations. So assume that we have this particular example. So for example, of a long-running query, like select star from DBA underscore source. I know that this one is going to run, it's actually going to take a lot of time to be executed because it has so many records in it. So I want us to see a scenario where a developer is experiencing an issue about this particular query. And at some point, he requests or actually asks for help from an Oracle DBA just to ensure that the DBA or this particular query is actually killed or stopped so that he can continue performing his duties. And remember, this is actually one of the long-running queries. It is actually important because when we talk about the long-running queries in Oracle database, remember each one probably has a SID or the uniqueness of these queries. So we are going to talk about two scenarios. One is how to identify this, and secondly, of course, how to kill. And I'm going to take two sides. One, I'm going to assume that I'm a developer, probably looking from the developer environment. And That is an environment where the developer is experiencing this particular query. And on the other side, I'm also going to launch another terminal, probably to act as a DBA or an Oracle database terminal. So this is actually the task on today's tutorial. So I want us to go practically and see what is happening. Now, here I have the Linux operating system. Is actually Oracle Linux version 8. And in it, I have installed the Oracle database. Remember, those are two different products. You need to have the platform, which is actually the operating system. And my operating system is installed on an Oracle the VMware workstation or a virtual box. And in that particular, on top of the operating system, I've done the configuration to ensure that I have the Oracle database 19C. So remember that there are different versions, probably ranging from 11G coming to 12C, going to Windows 7, 13C, 18C, 19C, 21C. So for my case, I'm going actually to work around the 19C, and I'm going to open two terminals. So that is terminal number 1. And let me also open another one. Okay, so let me just open two tabs here. So I'm going to have like another tab here, but I feel like I should have. Okay, that is the third one. Okay, so we're going to have, okay, we're going to differentiate between this one and this one. Yeah, so both of them are actually, if I had it like this, it would be better for me. So let's say I'm opening another terminal. Okay, it's not coming up. So this is actually Oracle Linux 8. So let's assume that now I want to. So let me just increase the characters view preferences. Come to text, I'll come to font, maybe put to 15, select, close on this other side. Now, so this is actually the welcoming terminal. So the first one, probably on my left, is going to serve as the client or the developer. And the other one on the right is going to serve as the Oracle DBA. So here it means now that I'm going to implement, let's say I'm going to connect the SQL database. That is, of course, the initiate the Oracle database. So I'm going to do like, sorry for that. So something has happened. So let me just start it again. So for this is going actually to take a little shorter because I just want to make short videos straight to the point, and you have your skills to start steering your career or to start working on your career or to start sharpening your career. So let me just wait and then let's see what is happening here. Okay, so this is Oracle. So from here, I'm going to have the first terminal, and then I'm going to have another terminal here, another tab. Yeah. So here I'm going to initiate SQL /assist DBA. Okay, so we are connected to the terminal, and let me see. Let me first of all exit and to do the CD $sign Oracle _home ls. I want to do CD DBS just to check the parameter files. Which parameter files do we have? So we have init RCL. So in this scenario, I want to remove -rf, rbf, init. So we have, okay, so let me create this SP file. So we have now the path. So we have the path. Okay, let me clear my screen just to make sure that we are able to initiate. So ls and then pwd. Now let me connect SQL as sysdba. Then from there, I'm going to say create a file from SP file, then give a path. So I'm going to give this path. So just capture this path. Sometimes you encounter this as a database administrator. Then from there, I'm going to have SP file. So I'm going to have this file here. So let me just have it like that. Paste it, and then press enter. So file created. So this time round, if I just repeat it, the con, we just exit SQL class, sysdba, just clear my screen, SQL class, sysdba, and then start up on the startup force. Let's see what happens. So on this other side, here now it's coming up. So sometimes you can be tasked to like connect it to an idle instance. So probably there's an issue with the initialization parameter files, and we need to create. So here I'm actually in it, and this is going to act as my, let's say the developer is going to act as the developer. Then this other side, I'm going to do just to connect now as an Oracle database using the same platform, sysdba. Now this is direct, you can see it's version 19C. Now, let's come here. So when it comes to the long running query, because we are trying to kill a specific session which has been raised by the developer, and from this particular area, I'm acting as a developer, probably a developer ended have an issue with this particular query, start from dba underscore source. So if you press enter, you can see that this is actually a long running query. And it's going to take some time for it to complete because it has over 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 records. So this is actually an issue with probably the developer. He can't proceed. He wants to proceed to a different operation or to perform a different operation or to work on some other tasks. But now this particular query, which is actually an example of a long running query, and we want to kill. So what will happen is that you will come back to your platform as an Oracle DBA because you have your end of interacting with the database, and you're always there to make sure that the administration of the database is catered for. So we will assume probably as we work here, at some point, this might, end up getting to the, executing successfully, and probably it stops. But you see, it's taking time. So you need to make sure that you keep. So if it stops, then we'll still come and run. So what is happening here is this. So given this particular scenario, first of all, you need to make sure that you identify. So what you do, because it's based on the session, you're talking about the killing session. We have this particular table called session. So if you do desk, you can now describe, you're describing this particular table, which is very important. So I'm going to use some of the rows just to identify the session, $session. And you can see, for example, we have the SID and we have the serial. So these are two important columns to identify so that you can take note of the serial ID I mean the SID and the serial number for that particular this particular query. Now look at this. This particular query is executed successfully, and you can see the number of rows, 29,000. That is around 291,053 rows selected. But it's a long query. So what happens is this. We have that table of $V session. We also have this $V SQL. So this is another table which is very important in ensuring that because just to get the query, SQL text, the SQL ID, and they are very important in ensuring that you get the right long-running query in question, or that is being asked by the developer. So here, what I will do is that I'm going to use some of the, so let me even use, so let me query. The first thing is you should query the $V session, and I'm going to borrow some of the columns here. So we are going to take a column here. For example, I'm going to take the module. I'm going to take the action, and I'm going to take the program. I'm going to take the program. So there are 3 columns I'm going to capture here. So what we'll do, just come and talk of select module, select program, and then the action from the $V session, $V session. Then we can talk about, so I want all the values, but remember, I just want to calculate only the first 2. Let's say the first 2 that have happened, because if I run this query like this, if I leave it like this, it's going to give me a long list. Look at that, 68 rows, but I don't know, I'm not interested in 68 rows. Probably I'm interested with the first 2. So what I will do, I'll just come and do select module, program, action from $V session, where now module is not null, and program is not null, and action is not null, and row num, the number of rows to be retrieved, should be less than 2. So if I press enter, and remember here, I just want to repeat the same queries. Remember it's running, but now it has stopped. So I want to run it again. Select star from VBA underscore source, so that we can have it in motion. So that is what developer is experiencing. So come here, if I press enter, now you can see that we have the module, the program, and the action. Now we have like the KTGS, the Oracle, the KTGS coordinator, so you might get some information regarding the module, the program, and the action. And if, for example, you are accessing the database from a different server, then you can have different information here. Now, let us narrow it down. So you will come and do about SQL ID. I want now to get the SQL ID. SQL ID is coming from the $V SQL. Remember, this is now what uniquely identifies that particular row. Remember, on the other side, it's still running. So let's come here and then talk about where SQL text. Like now, remember this is a table we are running. It is the DB underscore source. So I want to the SQL underscore text is like, so percent DBA underscore source, and then percent, and then like that, and then let us execute. So if I execute now, you can see that we have 2 SQL IDs. On the other side, the other one is still running. So we are getting like the SQL IDs related to what? Related to this, or connected to this particular table since it's running. Now, if you want to get more information again, you can still, let's say, select SQL ID, SQL text from the dollar SQL, where SQL text, if you want to get SQL text, like it's the same thing, but this time around I've just added, so percent DBA underscore source percent like that. Now on the other side, I know probably this one has stopped again. So let me run it to that one. And we want it to run so that we can see how to stop. So, but you can even have other queries that run longer even compared to that. So I've just taken DB underscore source to act as one of the long running query sessions. So if I press enter, now you can see that here two queries are retrieved. Like we have the first one, and then we have the second one. Now it's similar because you see here I took only SQL ID. Here I took the SQL ID and the SQL text. So it's actually going to give me the same thing. But what we are interested here is actually the SQL ID, because through the SQL ID, we are able now to identify. Remember, this one is running. So let's just come and read. So I'll come here and do select SID now, because now if you do this $v session, you'll be able to get the SID. But remember, we have these two, which have been captured here. So what I will do, I'll just do SID. I want, let's say, serial. That is the serial hash. It's one of the column. And then I can have, let's say, the module. I can have the problem. Let's say from $v session, where SQL underscore ID equals to. So I will come here, check, okay, equals to. So I want to capture this. I want to capture the first one. Let's see what the outcome. Now, so it's telling us no row selected. So I'm going to capture the same story here with the same query, put it there. Let's go to the second one, and then come here, and then paste. And now you can see that no rows selected. Why? You see this one has stopped. So if I run it one more time, select star from DBA underscore source, this is what we want to stop. So I'll keep it, make it run. So if I come back again here, so let me take this, copy, and then paste it here and press enter. Now you can see that we have some information. Why? Because this is running. This is running. So this is what the developer probably is complaining about. And this has stopped the developer from executing his other tasks. So since we have the SID here and the serial number, we have the one and we have 54994. These are two enough. These are enough for you to kill this particular process. So for us to kill this particular process, we have to do the alter system kill session. And then you can put like that, top of one, and then space with a comma, and then 54994, and then put like that. Sometimes you can execute it like that. Sometimes you can also do the immediate. You can do immediate. Now let's have a look whether this one is still running. Yes, it is still running. Now look at this. If I press enter, if I execute this, press enter, telling me system altered. Telling me system altered. Now, what happens when we go to the developer's environment? Look at this. So it's telling us that there's an error, end of file on communication channel, process ID, that, and then, so this has actually been stopped. It has been killed. It has been killed. So it means now that the query or the only way to kill a session is to identify the SID and the serial number. So those two are uniquely attached to that particular long-running query. Yes, so that is exactly what we need to know. So becoming an Oracle database administrator is not all about getting the theoretical part, but also getting the practicality part of it. So it's always good to understand the concept and get the skills, and through these skills, you'll get empowered and it will fuel your career journey to the end. So up to there, see you on the next episode of how to become an Oracle database administrator. Thank you and see you on the next.